Well, Delhi LG Vinay Kumar Saxena, he has proposed a radical plan to check traffic violations. He has written to the Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman. He has proposed index-linked insurance premiums in order to deter traffic violations and improve road safety. Now, there are a few alarming statistics to back his idea. India, remember, has seen over 4.37 lakh road accidents in 2022 alone, which resulted in approximately over 1.5 lakh fatalities. Overspeeding, it accounted for nearly 70% of these accidents. Vehicles with multiple traffic violations, they have a 40% higher risk of being involved in fatal crashes. So as part of this special initiative on NDTV Road to Safety program, this deterrence plan that the LG has proposed, is it going to work? Does more traffic violation means more insurance costs? Is it viable? Is it a good or impractical idea? And will financial deterrence work? You can call us on the number that you can see on your screens and share your views on it. In the meanwhile, I am currently joined by Harman Singh Sidhu. He's the president of Arrive Safe. So firstly, I just want to understand from you, do you think this is a practical idea, what the LG has proposed, that if you have more violations, it will cost you more when you renew your insurance? Do you think it is a practical idea, first of all?
It is.
Okay.
And this is something which has been done in many countries, like in the developed countries. And it has been proven as a successful way of reducing road crashes, because we in India, we are the #1 position holder as far as the number of fatalities due to road crashes is concerned. So this is an area which is directly impacting us, and this is something which is doable. Practically, we need to come down with the road crashes. India is a signatory to the UN Decade of Action for Road Safety, which calls for reduction by 50% of deaths by the year 2030. And this particular thing, because at times we as road users, we think that the probability of a road crash or fatality to me as a person is very less compared to the probability of getting challaned due to a traffic violation. And it is well proven that somebody who is a traffic violator, more likely that person would be involved in some kind of road crash, at least road indiscipline. So once the indiscipline comes down, we become better road users, our behavior improves, and as a result, the number of fatalities and the crashes would definitely come down. And this is something that I support 100%.
Okay.
And I really thank the LG for posing this, and I hope the government takes quick action on this.
Okay, we'll come back to you and get your views on this. In the meanwhile, I have our first caller, Srinivas, is calling from Bengaluru. Srinivas, firstly, what do you think about this entire idea that the LG has proposed? And secondly, does it also need to reflect in the behavior of the people who are driving on the road? Because we have seen so many instances of people violating traffic on the road, and it has resulted in accidents and deaths of multiple people. Do you think it is a good idea what the LG has proposed as of now?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Yes, I think it's a good idea, but I also say it is not enough. Okay. I feel two more things are to be done. One is have something like bad violations. You suspend the license to drive for a period of time. Greater the violence, maybe cancel it permanently. And also on the positive side, I think they should look at teaching driving at the schools, in the schools. Hello.
Okay. Continue, please. Continue. Yes.
Yeah. So these are the two more things I feel that should be tried out. One is suspending the license, and also trying to teach driving at the schools itself. I know it's difficult, but a start has to be made.
Okay, thank you for your suggestions. Let me go back to Harman Singh Sidhu. Harman Singh Sidhu, you heard our caller right now, suggesting various measures. Do you think all of this, apart from all these deterrents that the government can introduce in order to reduce traffic violations, do you think it also has to do with the fact that our behavior on the road, it also needs to change?
See, our behavior on the road is a reflection of our character. So our national character, that would definitely improve once the traffic movement on the road, it changes from chaotic to organized. So this particular step of linking the insurance with the traffic violations, this would have a direct impact, because I, as a road user, I would immediately know that I have done a traffic violation. So I would be forced to pay a financial loss to it, or like however you draft it, it can be the amount of the challan amount can be reduced, but the insurance amount can be further increased.
Okay.
So this fine balance has to be done, but we also need to ensure that the lower middle income group, for example, the commercial drivers, that they are not forced to pay a very substantial amount of fine, because that will dig a very deep hole in their pockets.
All right.
So
it's an important point that you're making, Mr. Sidhu, and we'll come back to you, and you can elaborate on that. In the meanwhile, I have another caller joining us, Shashi Bhushan. He's joining us from Patna. Shashi, आप पटना से हैं और पटना का हमने जो है वो सिचुएशन देखा है, जिस तरह का ट्रैफिक वायलेशंस वहाँ पे होता है. अब जो दिल्ली के लिए ये जो एलजी साहब हैं वो जो प्रपोज कर रहे हैं, क्या आप सिमिलर चीज वहाँ पटना में भी देखना चाहेंगे?
एलजी के जो प्रपोजल हैं, ये रैश ड्राइविंग के चलते 70% एक्सीडेंट होते हैं. ओवरटेकिंग उसमें सबसे बड़ा कारण है. जो ओवरटेक करे ऐसे लोगों को इंश्योरेंस बढ़ावे या जैसी सजा दे, मैं उसको सपोर्ट करता हूं. और मेरा नाम वर्मा BUR से नहीं BERMA होता है, जो कि आपके स्क्रीन पर गलत दिखलाया जा रहा है.
तो
मैं कह ये रहा था कि अब तो जो इंश्योरेंस का इतना कॉस्टली है, हम लोग जो कि मिडिल क्लास के हैं, हम लोगों को लगता है कि कार बेच के अब हम लोग भी टैक्सी से अपना चलें, क्योंकि वन कैन नॉट अफोर्ड. एवरी ईयर आप नियर अबाउट 19-20,000 लगता है एक मिड कैप के कार का इंश्योरेंस. इट इज वेरी हाई. तो जो लोग, दो कारण है, बड़े बड़े कंट्री में लोगों का, कंपनी ने, सरकार ने डिसीजन लिया है कि कार का प्रोडक्शन कम किया जाए, क्योंकि सड़कें नहीं है वैसी, सारा कार को कोप करते. पटना की हालत आपने बेहतर आपने कहा, आप जानते हैं, तो मैं बधाई के पात्र है. यहाँ तो गाड़ी चलाना मुश्किल है. तो मैं एलजी के प्रपोजल से सहमत हूँ, लेकिन साथ ही यह भी कि जो लोग एक्सीडेंट फ्री ड्राइविंग करते हैं उनको रिबेट मिलने चाहिए.
Okay. Thank you, Shashi Bhushan Verma ji. Is calling from Patna. In the meanwhile, I also have another caller, Melvin Ribeiro from Goa. Melvin, a similar situation, we have seen similar situations in Goa as well, and especially in and around Panjim, where you see people driving these scooties, you see these rental vehicles, and people are not following traffic rules, without helmet, without their license, etc. Do you think a deterrence plan like what has been proposed in Delhi, do you think something like that can be implemented in Goa as well? And do you think it is going to work for a state like Goa?
Yeah, this is Melvin with you. Good evening to you. And a point to be noted is that whatever LG of Delhi has come out with, it's a practical thing. But on the longer run, what needs to be done is we have to have some kind of discipline inculcated in oneself when a license is given. See, right. If there is one kind of a violation, there should be some points been given onto the license, and if there are 2 or 3 more, the license will be suspended for at least 6 months. And after suspension of the license, if the person is caught driving again, he should be jailed for at least a minimum 365 days. And then only everything will come on the line. That's what I say.
Okay. Okay. So that has been the common theme from what we understand from all of you. License is taking away the license, jail term, etc. But is it going to work as a deterrence is something that is still open to discussion. In fact, I'm also joined by another caller, Somnath from Hyderabad. Somnath, just like other cities in the country, and especially like metro cities in the country, Hyderabad also has this problem. We have seen so many instances there in Hyderabad where people are not following traffic rules, people are violating traffic rules, and this has resulted in so many accidents, etc. Do you think an idea or a policy like this, is it going to work, and do you think it should be implemented in Hyderabad and in Telangana as well?
Thank you for taking me online. And the first thing, am I audible, please?
Yes, Somnath, please continue. We can hear
Okay.
you.
So
Yes.
the first thing is culturally, we have been not trained properly on how to drive first. Like, for example, I tell you, this kind of insurance to linkage may take a long transition for about under 5 to 10 years. We are not ready for it. Two, if you see the violations, basically, if you see the culture, the way we are taught or the way we have been given licenses. Okay. We've been taught from childhood when you're turning a left, you keep honking, which is typically that's how we are trained. Yep. The licensing system, when we take a right turn, we don't go from the center, we just move to extreme right and take a turn. Yep. Three, if you see, another thing is on all the vehicles, you keep reading, please honk, please honk, please honk. So you have been conditioned to keep honking, honking, honking. Similarly, there are many things which needs primary attention before you take a drastic step of telling, listen, I'm going to charge you and penalize you.
Okay.
And secondly, where is the linkage going to come? Your insurance today, many people in the country don't have the resources to pay your insurance and other taxes. Yeah. So are we just want to do something to say we are doing something and, or you want to address it from the grassroots by saying, why are people violating the traffic, or can we create a system? Can we educate our people and then give them re-licensing systems? Even the licensing system is so pathetic, they don't treat you whether you're driving in a straight line. Your only driving license is given, are you able to drive in an 8, reverse your car? That's not good. Right. Yeah. We need to look at the primary reason why there are so many violations.
True. Somnath, thank you very much for giving us your views. Somnath from Hyderabad. In fact, I'm also joined by G.S. Bhatia from Faridabad. Mr. Bhatia, a lot of our callers, they have been talking about, apart from the fact whether this is a good idea, whether it is a bad idea, will financial deterrence work or not, a lot of our callers, they have been talking about behavioral change. Do you think that is also one of the most important part when you are out there on the road driving?
What I want to tell you is that these people, if you are increasing the penalty, that is a good point.
Okay.
They should pay more. Once a 100 rupee note goes out of your pocket, you keep on thinking for a long time. But what happens is that the more stringent, just the one which you are now proposing that insurance should increase, that is not a bad idea, but we do not know what are going to be your details and all that. But what I phoned you for is that you see these motorcycle people, they try to overtake you, वो बहुत तेज तेज गाड़ी चलाते हैं और बाएं हाथ से निकलते हैं हमारे बाएं हाथ से. So I am giving you a signal that I am going to turn on the left, and he again comes and tries to overtake me. These are the many traffic violations. But what can we do? There is no police. पुलिस भी जो है वो इतना सक्षम नहीं है, जो काम करना चाहिए वो करती नहीं है. और ये रेड लाइट की वायलेशंस कितनी हैं, ये बहुत है रेड लाइट की, लोग निकल जाते हैं जी. कई बार हमने देखा है कि टक्कर भी हुई है किसी की, कोई बच भी, एक आध तो मर भी गया. मैं फरीदाबाद की बात कर रहा हूँ जहाँ पर बहुत कम ट्रैफिक है. ट्रैफिक यहाँ भी बहुत है
लेकिन दिल्ली में तो बहुत ज्यादा है ना
जी।
तो ये मैं कहता हूँ कि जो लेफ्ट ओवरटेकिंग करते हैं इसके ऊपर भी ध्यान देना चाहिए। ये जो आप ये ट्रैफिक की अपना जो हिदायतें आप देते रहते हैं अपने टीवी के ऊपर, इसमें ये भी इंक्लूड कीजिए कि लेफ्ट से ओवरटेक नहीं करना चाहिए। व्हेन आई एम गिविंग द सिग्नल एंड दे आर स्टिल ओवरटेकिंग मी, आई एम गोइंग टू टर्न राइट लेफ्ट and he is trying to overtake me from the left.
All right.
So this is what I want to do. You must increase the liability and only then people will learn.
Absolutely. We totally agree with you, Mr. Bhatia. Let me go back to our guest Harman Singh Sidhu, President of Arrive Safe. Mr. Sidhu, a lot of, you were mentioning about the cost, and you were also mentioning about the low-income group and the kind of effect that it is going to have on them. I want to understand from you, something like this, it has been implemented in countries like the United States, many European countries, like you mentioned. And do you think implementing something like this in a developing country like India, is it viable?
See, there would be some teething problems. That is understandable.
Okay.
Whenever we start something, we normally come across some issues. So they can be addressed. It's not something which is not addressable in today's world when everything is digital. So it is doable. I'll just give you an example of my hometown, which is Chandigarh. So we have cameras placed at nearly every intersection to check traffic violations. So two things that have significantly changed, reduced. One is red light jumping. Second is standing before the zebra crossing line. So these two things have significantly changed. So the behavior of people change as we get directly impacted. So once the insurance amount increases in case of our violating the traffic rules, at the same time, if we have a policy that if somebody is following the rules and he has no background of traffic violations, he gets some financial benefit out of it. So people would adapt to it in a better, and there would be more acceptability to it. So we need to involve people. They need to be encouraged to be part of the drive. So once they know that they'll have a benefit if they follow the rules, I'm sure most of them, at least 75, 80, 90% people, would be interested in doing this. They would be inclined to fall in line.
Okay.
So this is something which should be tried at least as a pilot project.
Okay. Okay. So apart from this deterrence, financial deterrence, a lot of people have been also talking about behavioral changes. What I also want to understand from you is how do you educate and bring awareness to the people, especially these drivers who are out there on the road. Everyone seems to be in a hurry. How do you educate them and make them follow these traffic rules? Because it just seems as if it's one of the most difficult tasks to do on the road.
It is. See, there are 5 pillars, as we call in the field of road safety. One is road safety management, having safe roads, having safe vehicles, and then a safe road user behavior. And 5th is post-crash trauma care. So the 4th one is about the behavioral part. So the attitude and behavior, I know these are complex things and takes time to change, but we have to take the first step. And it does take time in the initial, let's say 5-10%, but subsequently it gets imbibed in our behavior. As one gentleman was talking about honking, that is one single very important aspect. You start thinking that you don't have a horn on your vehicle, so you don't honk at all.
Yeah.
The way of your driving, the way you behave at the intersection, that will change substantially because nobody is hearing you. Otherwise, we think that we have a loud horn, we honk, and we assume that the other road users have understood what I am trying to say. So everybody is honking, so we all think that I am shouting and the others are listening. So it has to be like the wise old owl. The more he saw, the less he heard. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. So
Okay.
we need to be those wise old owls on the road.
All right.
So slowly and steadily, the behavior does change. As I've given you the example of my hometown, Chandigarh. So because of those cameras, the deterrence increased. and at least these two violations, which are serious violations, their statistics have come down.
Okay. Okay. Let's also go across to another caller, Mr. Prakash, calling from Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. Prakash, yes, what are your views on this entire thing, this deterrence plan that has been proposed, increasing the premium of your policy? What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it should be implemented in other states as well?
Yeah, one point I would like to mention is always in India, one thing is being imposed, like, okay, penalty, fine, impose taxes, that will solve the entire problem. No, that is wrong.
Okay.
We have to have social responsibility, behavioral change, and adherence to rule of the law. How many people knows the rule of the law or safety on roads or traffic rules? How many people knows it? I doubt completely, because it's my percentage, but I'm sure that 90% of the Indian drivers doesn't know traffic rules or road safety rules. That is the situation we are in. And just by imposing only some penalty linking to insurance, then only few people or section of people like who are taxi drivers, they will get penalized. I can say most of the taxi drivers are traffic violators, but yeah, they are not financially well, but they will get penalized.
Okay.
But
okay,
who is responsible for giving licenses to these people who doesn't know the traffic rules?
All right. The onus also lies on the authorities as well, is what you are mentioning. I have one final caller from Bengaluru, Mr. Dash. Mr. Dash, Bengaluru again, one of those cities where we see massive traffic issues, and because of the way traffic functions there are so many violations there. Do you think an idea like this, which is being proposed for Delhi, do you think an idea like that can work in a city like Bengaluru as well?
What happened? No, I was retired from defense civilian. I was a traffic warden.
Okay.
I have seen this most of the RTO people are all corrupt people without going to even test. They doesn't know the lane discipline or what is the thing. No, nothing is there. Simply give money, take the driving license. And I have seen many accidents. I was a traffic warden. Whenever I see that, nobody is following the rules and regulations of the traffic. No, all the two-wheelers especially, they're supposed to go in the extreme left, and they don't follow it. And it's a lack of punishment in this country, whether it is a traffic or anything. There's a lack of punishment in this country. People take it very casual. They don't bother about the law. Nobody fear of law in this country because punishment is very less. People will leave bother for anything in this country. That's all the things, the murder, rape, this, that, whatnot is happening. The punishment is very, very casual.
Okay.
The government should become very strict. Once, twice, they should put every penalty. Police people also become many a times spectators. Jumping up signal, traffic violations. There's lots of these things. There's no seriousness in this, implementing any rules and regulations in this country. There's a lack of punishment in this country, I should say. I was a traffic warden. I was very strict on the road. Whenever people used to say, no, this man is very strict, I just never allow, even on the pedestrian, one wheel also. I simply stare at them and...
Mr. Dash, you're doing a fabulous job there, maintaining traffic and making sure that the traffic on the road is smooth. In the meanwhile, is this deterrence going to work? Is it a good or impractical idea? Or do we also need behavioral change? Do we also need better infrastructure? Do you also need education and awareness along with these deterrents? That is the question. Thank you to Harman Singh Sidhu, the president of Arrive Safe, for joining us with his views.